Hey friends, this is the Mrs. Wolfe from our half-acre homestead. On Thursday, January 10th, it was my turn to host the Homestead Honey Hour. And it was a really good show. We talked about the respect for life. And in a second, I'm going to share with you my lead-in to that show. But what was really cool was we had a lot of callers and a lot of wonderful sharing goes on the Homestead Honey Hour. It was really cool. But I'm going to share you an offset or a story that happened after the Homestead Honey Hour. But before that, I want to read you the lead into the show, and you'll get an idea of what we were talking about on the show. 2012 seemed to be a year of enlightenment for many people. Many, many more people are realizing that homesteading and prepping are not just a choice anymore, but are becoming for many a necessary way of life. As you all know, we do our absolute best to raise our own meat and have shared on video how we harvest and prepare our meats for the coming year. I have received a lot of negative reaction from many people, and not all of them vegetarians. But I also got a lot of positive reactions to the videos of the hatching chicks from the incubators and from under the broody hens. We've talked about the possible dangers and lack of long-term studies on GMO food and how we try to fight our way back from the dependency on chemicals in our daily lives. And I just don't mean chemicals in our food either. Why is this even a topic? Because we have been slowly indoctrinated over the last few generations to look away. Turn our heads away from seeing what was happening to the small family farms, because industrial farming, we were told, was the only way man could be fed. So we looked away and trained ourselves not to think about how the meat got to the store, not to think about how the produce in the store lasted longer, was bigger, and was prettier than we remembered as children. Now I know we've talked about it, but what that night's topic was about is just the respect for life. What I'm going to say may offend some, but others may nod their heads in agreement. When we harvest an animal, be it from the wild or something we have raised, we give thanks. Thanks to the Creator and thanks to the animal for providing us with nourishment. Why? Because for too long we have been removed from the process of where our nourishment comes from. Too many people grab meat from the counter and don't think twice that it used to be an animal living, breathing, breeding, and feeding its young. They just look at the price tag, pop it in their cart, and move on. But when we pray over an animal and thank it for its life and thank God for allowing us to have it, we are called barbarians. How does killing an animal for food lead to my reverence and respect for life? Because when I raise it, I feed it, I love it, or I should say we kill it and cook it, we have completed our part in the circle of its life. And when you hear the words, the circle or cycle of life, what does it mean to you? Have we as a society lost the true meaning of life? Is this why there is so little respect for it on so many levels? Because if I'm a barbarian because I choose to participate in the life and death of the food I eat, what does that make those who do not see beyond the price tag on the slab of cold meat on its styrofoam tray? Honestly, I think that's where our society has begun to go seriously off the rails. Because if you cannot participate in the life and death of your food without repugnance, do you deserve to eat it with relish? Recently, I watched a video sent to me by a friend. It was called Jamie's Great Italian Escape. Now, I love Jamie Oliver. He works every day to educate people and what they are eating. In this episode, he was in La Marca, Italy, and he was with a family who completely lived off the land. He was going to cook the lamb, and then, and when handed the knife to cut its throat, he said, "I don't know if I can do that, man. No, seriously, I don't know if I can kill a lamb." But he did, and kudos to him, he cooked it. And afterwards he said, to do that today was pretty emotional and pretty hardcore. But you know, to be honest, as a chef that has cooked 2,000 sheep, I think it's only fair that you kill one. Otherwise, you're just a fake. To be honest, in society, who's a fake and who's real? The people that face the reality of where their food comes from and do not flinch when the time comes to kill it and cook it? Okay, it's okay to flinch. Or those who never think twice about the life that was before it became a piece of steak on their plate. Because those are the people that still think GMO is just a fancy hybrid and that chemicals magically disappear once it washes into the soil with the rain. So if wanting to be a part of the life that sustains me makes me a barbarian, then I say, just call me Mrs. Wolfe Cavewoman. My older son does. But when he says it with pride. Now, I'm also going to say that not everyone has the option to go to raise and kill and harvest their own food. Many, many people live in the cities. But that doesn't stop us from going into the grocery store, and when we pick that chicken or we pick that piece of meat and we look at it and say, this was a life that died so that I could nourish my family, and be grateful at that moment. Okay? So it's not just all about homesteaders and preppers, folks. It is about the respect for life. Now I want to share something with you because I had a caller call in, and her name is Helen from Homestead and a Rental. And she said, we keep rabbits and chickens and stuff. And she said, I can do everything but kill it. Now, I can't exactly quote the conversation, but I can say that she did everything, she could do everything except take its life. And when I asked her why, for her to really think about what part of the taking of its life was an issue for her, she didn't know. So I said, well, that's what you got to look at. If you have a problem, taking the life of an animal you've raised for food, that's what you have to address. You have to look at why and make your peace with it, because it's an important part in the step of the circle of life. Death is as equally as important as life, but it's how that we manage death that makes us functioning members in society today. Anyway, it was a really great conversation, and I really felt wonderful about it. But what I want to share with you is Helen from Homestead and a Rental sent me an email today, and here it is. Dear Bev, I've been thinking about why I could not dispatch the rabbits. I believe it is because I've always wanted to have one for a pet. With this said, I decided not to berate myself and to try a critter that has no tugs on my heartstrings. Today I dispatched my own chicken. I sent you the pictures because you were so instrumental in helping me get over my mental block about dispatching. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Tomorrow is our 7th anniversary, and I'm going to cook a chicken dinner for Tim with the chicken I dispatched. Tim is so proud of me, and I am too. Many good wishes, hugs, and kisses. Helen from Homestead and a Rental. Well, you know what I got to say to that, folks? Yay! Wonderful, Helen, that's wonderful. What a huge step. And it's an important step, because the moment you dispatch an animal for food, you are connected to that animal's life. And that's really, really important. It really is important to respect the life that you're taking for your food. And it's a wonderful way to learn to be grateful for life. Anyway, this is the Mrs. Wolfe from our half-acre homestead saying, Helen, good job, darling. Amazing. We're all so very proud of you. Take care. Bye-bye.